They changed a couple.
The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
Ellen, so horrified.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, welcome, y'all. I moved the channel. I don't know if you guys know. It's called the Cosmic Fold now.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I looked at it. It was hard to find, and I just saw that just now when I went to link. But I'll put a post up and try to get people to traffic there. But I think when you look on YouTube for the Cosmic Fold, there was a band with that name, and
I saw that like, too.
Yeah, and it was like, what's going on?
So this was called they must be on the same wavelength, right? But This was called the Cosmic Fold High Strangeness podcast or something like that.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, this looks better.
Yeah, I feel like I was licking up my nose.
It's fun. It's like all the buttons have changed, so it's like training an old dog new tricks here. So
it's a lot of crazy technical stuff, huh? Just having to get all this because of the call-in and everything. It's not easy to do, I don't think, right? I mean, there's a lot of
and the call-in's not going to work tonight because for some reason it's not reading that mic over there. So I'll post in the post if people want to join by video. That works too.
Yeah,
and
that's
good. If they're shy, they can just just turn their camera off.
Right. Or they could also, can they comment too? Can they
Yeah, definitely.
So they can join the chat. Yeah.
So
that's good.
I'll post the link in the comment thing right now. So
okay.
I watch Deborah tortured every week trying to get all the equipment.
I know it's a lot of technical stuff. Here it is.
I'm shocked. I would be crying. I would just cry because the frustration level is so high,
Back in my pre-law days, I used to, I don't know if you remember when Ma Bell broke up.
Yes,
because it was
I do.
So one of the companies that came was called Honeywell.
Yeah.
And so I was a quality control analyst. And so I'd go all over the state of Texas and look at computer boards to make sure all the wires worked and to look at all this stuff. So I've kind of been in the field before and plus, have taken a lot of stuff since then. But still, I hear you, Granny. It gets so frustrating, especially when I turn things on and they don't work anymore. It's like,
if I had to do that every day for a job, I wouldn't get out of bed.
Well, yeah. Well, it's weird, with technology. It seems like technology is supposed to make life easier, but it has all these other problems built into it, like the constant changing of everything all the time. I mean, I wish they could I get it. They're trying to evolve the technology, but it's sort of like you just get used to it one way and then it kind of like doesn't, and it's constant. It's annoying. I guess it keeps us on our toes, but.
Well, StreamYard's got this new thing now about you record a video and then at the end of the video, rather than being able to end the recording and continue to talk to the person that you have on there, this thing pops up and tries to get you to do AI clips or something.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff is a lot of things are doing that. Zoom's doing that too. A lot of that going on. Everybody wants to get into the AI.
Speaking of AI and speaking of adjusting to technology, first things first, for when I get this, I'm using Podbeam, so I'll be able to have this streaming to like 4 or 5 different like podcasts.
Good. That's good.
But so that our audience that will be hearing only audio knows who's who. We'll just say our names.
Oh, right.
I'm Denise. Helen, Irish Granny Helen.
I'm Denise Siegel. Hey, Denise.
And my friend Laura that likes to come on, she's kind of sick with, there's some weird cold.
There's so
kind of
much
thing
stuff
going
going
around.
on. Oh my God. Yeah, there's so much going around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's the flu, there's COVID, there's colds, it's endless. Yeah.
Oh, or
And
you
the
could
fight-
have a little dysentery.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't believe that. She just told me about it today, but I guess dysentery is happening as there's an outbreak in Portland. Just really
yeah.
weird.
Dysentery is actually the symptom. It's bloody diarrhea. I'm sorry to say the words, but it can be caused by a number
It's
of
usually by
different
bacteria, isn't it, or a virus, like something
or
in
an
the
amoeba.
right, amoeba. Yeah, like yeah, not good, not good.
No.
But speaking of adjusting to technology, and these things, and also using AI, this is probably one of the worst amateur videos, but I thought it was hilariously funny.
Okay, cool.
This is 100 years ago. People just started getting radios, right?
Right.
What I'm going to do is play a video story. So I looked at all kinds of newspapers this time, and I put it together as a video that we can watch. And it's
Okay.
but some of it is just hysterical because you can tell the AI is really bad.
Okay.
But I'm easily entertained. So here we go with this.
Okay.
Have his own broadcasting station and receiving set.
That's what Fritz Coons, an occultist of Udyar, India, said eventually will come to pass through the development of mankind's telepathic powers, in his 1922 lecture, Psychic Wireless. Welcome to another wild journey into the past. Tonight, we unravel one of the most bizarre, hilarious, and utterly unhinged obsessions of the 1920s, psychic radio.
We're receiving letters from all over the country. People claim they're being harassed by psychic radio threats.
By 1925, things had escalated. People weren't just talking about psychic radio anymore. They were flooding the US government with complaints.
Like ghosts?
Oh, not just ghosts. We've got reports of hellhounds, spectral voices, and even a wicked mastermind broadcasting worldwide destruction.
One complainant, a well-known New York woman, demanded a government investigation, claiming she had received threatening messages via psychic radio for 6 months. The Department of Commerce got so many complaints about ghosts on the radio that they actually had to consider investigating. And folks, it gets better. In Minneapolis, some people believed that psychic radio wasn't just for ghosts and demons, it was also leaking their private arguments to the neighborhood.
I think some enemy has concealed a microphone in our home, so that everything we say is broadcast to neighbors. We have searched the house but can't locate any microphone. Just the same, the neighbors are all talking. What can we do? It's getting so we are almost afraid to quarrel. Whether someone has placed a microphone in the house or not, some enemy, in some way, is plotting to wreck our home life.
After an investigation, police dismissed the claim, but psychic radio complaints continued to be filed. In May 1925, H.F. Dunn of Indianapolis lodged a formal complaint with J.E. Hoover, head of the Bureau of Investigation of the Department of Justice.
Unidentified forces are seeking to spread Bolshevism and anarchy through the United States by psychic radio. I represent victims of the secret or psychic broadcasting stations. You mean to find the broadcasters of red propaganda and put them out of business.
Dunn also disclosed that supernatural manifestations marked the operation of the secret broadcasters. Officials at the department said they were not psychic researchers. They eventually pigeonholed Dunn's complaint. Professor John Spearing, metaphysician of Hawaii, weighed in, getting his share of the news articles in the summer of 1925.
I noticed that a group of Indianapolis people have sent an attorney to Washington with a request that the Department of Justice investigate alleged threats from psychic radio. In some instances, one who receives a radio threat is guilty of some offense, which makes him susceptible to a veiled hint that he should improve his conduct. If a man's life is clean, let him laugh and turn off the radio when messages annoy him. Granted, for the sake of argument, that a wandering spirit might have power to speak over radio, then any red-blooded, clean-minded American citizen should have strength of mind enough to resist the vague mouthings of a disembodied fool.
That same summer, New York City radio station WGBS decided to get into the action.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to conduct a grand experiment. The California Ramblers Orchestra will now perform 3 songs, using only their minds. Now, if anyone at home thinks they hear music, let us know.
The listeners were asked to send in their reactions. Some people did report hearing the songs. And others? Well, they weren't just listening for psychic radio. They were broadcasting it. A group of spiritualists operated a psychic radio station from 106 Loomis Street in Chicago, 3 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 7 p.m.
I can get well. I will get well. I must get well.
That's right. This was essentially a psychic self-help station where listeners were told to focus their minds on healing. No microphones. No speakers. Just pure thought waves. But guess what? The psychic radio hysteria isn't just a relic of the past. Let's not forget the 1971 case Robinson versus ABC, where tobacco farmers sued TV networks for airing anti-smoking messages, claiming it was secret propaganda harming their business. In 2019, a woman sued the Department of Defense claiming she had been implanted with an MK-Ultra mind control device that was broadcasting subliminal messages into her brain. The case is called Fuller versus Department of Defense. And in 2021, a man sued Nike because he believed their animated commercial contained subliminal anti-Semitic and terroristic imagery that affected viewers on a subconscious level. But folks, going back to the 1920s, nothing tops what happened in 1928. Dr. Mansfield Robinson, a devoted psychic, announced he was sending a radio message to Mars.
Tomorrow, my mysterious message will be transmitted to a Martian woman. She has oversized ears.
Here's what the news account stated.
Dr. Robinson's little telegram will be sent out by the central office in London via the Rugby wireless station, whence it will be dispatched automatically into space on a wavelength of 18,700 meters. Radio engineers at St. Albans will listen in for half an hour on a 30,000-meter wavelength for a reply from the warlike planet. Officials say hoax replies are hardly probable on such a wavelength. Robinson, who professes to have held telepathic communication with a young woman in Mars, has described her graphically. One peculiarity of the Martians, he says, is oversized ears.
And that, my friends, is the history of 1920s psychic radio.
Man, that reminds me of 5G.
Yeah, wasn't that was just a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Reminds me of the 5G freak out. And it also reminds me of the stuff that people getting all worked up about. I can't remember the name of it. It's not Noah, but it's like no, those stations like that are like weather stations that monitor weather, and they think that they're sending out things. I mean, it just goes to show. It's interesting because radio was new back then, right? And so
it had just come out. So
so people's imagination kind of went wild with that. I mean, you see how it happens now. It's like with technology. I don't know if you remember during the first part of like the 2010s and stuff like that into the 2020, like from 2010 to about 2020, there was a proliferation of stuff on YouTube, all about MK Ultra and all these things and people getting, and Philip, you ever read any Philip K. Dick? The novelist Philip K. Dick, who wrote
Minority Report.
He wrote even Andrews from Electric Sheep and all that. He writes a lot of stuff like kind of, paranoid sort of psychic stuff like that. And this gets into a really good point, I think, between what is imagination and what is psychic, and kind of that is they're on the same kind of they're in the same pool, but one side is in the deep end and one side, or whatever, however you want to put it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Are people using their imagination, or what they really doing tuning into the ether?
Well,
exactly. And like
yeah.
you were saying before, Helen, about like we're all in this soup kind of
Yeah.
thing, but yet there's
Yeah.
like this electrical charge. And so you wonder, you know,
Yeah.
which part, maybe some people actually respond that way, thinking that there's ghosts. But I remember in high school, I think, it was this big thing. And in the church, they were just like screaming about it. How if you play rock music backwards, the
Oh
record.
yeah, oh yeah, that was
like,
a
all
common
that
thing.
stuff
The
in
devil,
it.
yeah, the devil was like, I remember that. Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because also, you know, I was wondering, are they talking about like it seemed like it kind of ran a big gamut. Like, is it people listening to the radio and thinking they hear voices in the radio, or is it people who think that the radio is putting stuff in their head, or is it all of that stuff? You know,
all of the
all of that.
above.
Right.
And where the movie started, this lecturer in India. I read a little bit of his stuff, but I just didn't have time to really go into that. But he was saying, it was kind of interesting. In 1922, he was saying this is going to come, but eventually people will kind of be like their own psychic station because they're going to get more like in tune. He said, but before you do that, you have to, kind of like what you say, Denise, have your spiritual ducks in a row and be grounded in that way. And am I echoing?
A little bit. Not. I don't think it's that noticeable.
Okay. I'm having mic problems. So in any event, thank you. He was warning that
you're getting distracted. You're getting distracted by it, but it's not that bad on my end.
So anyway, he was warning that could actually be a danger as these things come, that a lot of people who are not grounded or have their spirituality in place would be susceptible to kind of going mad from this stuff. And
interesting.
So I think he will be an interesting.
Well, look at what's happened.
More on him. Exactly. And you know, and now
look what's going on with social media.
Yes. And the thing is, and it's
I think that's what that is.
It is. And, you know, I probably live in one of the few places in the United States that doesn't have cameras everywhere on the streets. You know, you drive everywhere and there's cameras watching you. And then when you become aware of how many devices that we're all sort of watched or participating in or whatever, it's even this little town here. It's like you don't know if you should say hi to somebody because everyone's got those little white
the earbuds in
ears.
Yeah.
And so you don't know if they're aware or not. Remember a couple of years ago, they were talking about these people that were just staring at their phones and getting in accidents. And
yes,
you know,
it's still happening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's happening all the time. In fact, there's a law in Tennessee that if you're, people don't know this, but they passed a law a few years ago because so many people were getting in accidents that if you are actually seen touching your phone, they can take you to jail. And they give you a $500 fine. Yeah, because there's so many accidents caused from cell phones. Yeah.
And let me tell you something really scary. I walk almost every day, and I've done a little informal study of this. I would say 90% to 95% of the people who drive past me are looking down at their phones while they're driving.
That's scary. I see, you know, I drop off my kid at school and the kids are walking down the street with their, you know, on their phones, and they're not paying attention to walking across. It's really bad. It's quite bad.
I saw a young woman pushing a baby stroller with her elbows so she could use her hands on her phone.
Oh my God. You know, it was a few years ago. I'm starting to sound like my grandparents. So now I can't think of it.
Yeah, right.
In my day.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do remember it was like 10 years ago, maybe, where NPR had done this. It was around Thanksgiving, you know, they have real interesting shows. And one of them was about this family. And so here all these people travel, you know, and they meet, you know, for Thanksgiving.
And they're all on their devices?
And they're all on their phones, not talking to each other.
Wow.
In the same house.
Yeah, or you go out to dinner and you see people doing that. Their whole family are sitting on their phone. It's like, you guys are paying to hang out together and you're on your phones. I don't see it. I think, some people are trying to make a conscientious sort of effort to not do that. But you really have to. I don't personally, I'm not glued to my phone all the time.
Me neither.
I'm not really one of those people. I think it's really not great to do that. I think it's, you're not being grounded in reality or in your environment. And I think you're missing a lot if you do that. The internet's always going to be there. There's nothing that important that you need to be on your phone all day long for,
Exactly.
I carry my phone with me because, it's cheaper than one of those Lifeline things. I just
wait.
keep it
Do you
in-
hear? Is her mic sound weird to you, Deborah? Does she sound weird?
A little bit. Yeah. I was thinking it was me. Maybe it's.
Now it's you. Is it me? Is it me, or I don't hear myself sounding weird, but something's going on. Like there's interference happening. Do you hear it?
It's the psychic.
Probably
radio.
the demons. Yeah.
It's the hellhounds.
The demons in the radio. You shouldn't be tempting them, Deborah, with this story. You shouldn't be.
Did I echo when I laughed or not?
Yeah, you know what? Do you guys hear the weird that whole thing going on? Yeah, that's
I can't
weird.
figure out where it's coming from.
I don't either. It happened with me and Helen the other day. I think there's instability going on. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I've noticed since we stopped our cyber stuff here in the United States, there's been a lot more problems I've had with the internet. Since we've stopped kind of monitoring Russia and kind of counterattacking that, there's been a lot of problems. So
I don't notice it being any worse because I always have problems with it.
It's worse. It's definitely worse.
Mine is actually better. I got this thing for rural areas. I'm not pixelating out constantly now, and I can
You sound like you're.
So that part's better, but I don't know what that sound is.
Yeah, it's strange. It sounds like you're kind of coming from another dimension now. Now I can't hear you.
All right.
Something's going on with your mic, I think. I think it's partially your
mic.
mic.
It's supposed to be that really good, expensive one, and it didn't come in. So
that sucks. Oh my gosh, this thing. Was it Mercury retrograde when we started this podcast? This thing? I don't remember. Was it, or was it Mars retrograde? I think it's been Mars retrograde since we started. Yeah.
Oh, has it? Okay.
I think that might be part of the technical problems. Yeah. Anyway, what are we going to do about this? I don't know. Do I sound weird to you guys?
No.
Okay.
What I might do is see you guys talk, and I'm going to switch.
You try to come back. Okay. Try to change mics. Okay. Well, yeah, this whole thing with the, it's an interesting idea. I mean, I always think about psychic ability a little bit like a radio anyway.
Yeah.
And that your brain kind of is an electrical vehicle, that has a neurological system, and it sort of, your brain waves are kind of sort of pulsating outward, and you can kind of receive and send that way. And that's what telepathy is about. So it's interesting that that particular guy kind of used that metaphor, because I kind of think about that as sort of a way to describe people who are kind of the difference between someone who's psychic and someone who's schizophrenic is the sort of, there's no channel. All the channels are open all the time in a schizophrenic, and someone who's psychic kind of can control the channel.
Yeah. And I always describe psychic ability as just being able to tune in your electromagnetic field. It's just a matter of tuning it to your environment. That's what remote viewers believe.
Whoa, what is going on?
Well, I didn't do that.
And there's something going on. There's some kind of interference. Should we try to see if it's a ghost?
How would we know?
Well, if it's a ghost, it should stop if we start acknowledging it. That's what my experience has been. Have you had any weird, anything strange happening at your house, Deborah, lately?
No, but we had a. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There's a weird. It's coming from here.
It feels like it is. Yeah. It feels like it's coming from you. Yeah. And it's somehow kind of also more extreme in Helen, when Helen a little bit kind of spills over into her field there too. When she starts.
Let me see.
You sound also very weird. Yeah, you sound very strange. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Go ahead.
I'll mute myself again. You guys talk. I'm going to try something else.
Okay. Now, do sound weird? Say something, Helen. I wonder if you're okay now that she's not.
I'm afraid to.
No, yeah, you're still a little bit funky too.
A little bit scratchy, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little scratchy. It sounds kind of like a vocoder. Do you know what that is? That's like it's like something or sounds kind of like, you know, how people who lose their vocal cords and that thing that they put to that device they put to their so you can understand what they're saying. It sounds
You're
really,
doing it too.
Now it's happening to me too. Yeah, I could hear it.
And I know it's not me because I recorded earlier. It was perfectly fine.
No, there's something going on with this feed. I think it's something to do with the feed. And it's probably not the mics. It's probably to do with
connection.
I don't know. Some kind of link. Some kind of internet thing. Yeah, that's sucky. I don't know if Deborah, I sent you a thing, Deborah. And also you, Helen. Did you see the email I sent you guys the other day?
I don't know.
No, obviously you didn't see it. Or you would have.
I don't check my email often enough.
I don't check it that often either.
What's the thing with your chat? Do you hear me? No.
Yeah, you're really broken. I think it must be the feed, Deborah. It must be this.
Oh, I did see this. You told me about this before.
Yeah, so that was kind of the when I asked the friend that was in the room when it happened if she remembered it, and I tried to reach out. It's like I never thought about reaching out to the person that actually saw it because was my ex-boyfriend. So I actually found him on Facebook. I'm in Facebook friends with him, but I don't really talk to him. But so I sent him a message to see if he remembered what had happened and kind of see what his memory of that situation was.
Like were you hallucinating or did it really happen? Yeah.
Right. Or what he remembers about it. I mean, I know it really happened because I woke up and everything. And after not knowing what happened and kind of feeling myself all of a sudden come to. So I know something happened. I didn't witness it though. So I can't really speak to it. But anyway.
Did he respond?
You know, he didn't I just thought about it last night. So he didn't respond, yet, but I imagine he probably will eventually respond. I can see if he did, but I doubt he did yet because it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, I don't really know.
I saw it too and thought, hey, that would make a good show for next week. So with your permission.
What did you say, Deborah?
Can you hear me?
Kind of, yes. You're kind of scratchy. Yeah.
Okay, when I was muted, some of the sound was coming from Helen too. So
yeah, it's coming from Helen too. I think it's the connection. Can you? Yeah, and it's the whole thing is like kind of wonky.
Yeah, it's all three of us. Do you know Carrie O'Donnell?
Should we do something like maybe one at a time, leave and come back and try to like restart it in some way? Like if I come out and she comes out. And then, or like you go out, Deborah, and come back in, and then maybe we can each try to see what the connection, what the problem is. Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but okay. Is it bad now? Can you hear me okay? Say something, Helen. Helen? Are you frozen? Dang it. Okay, I guess you're frozen. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are also still kind of funky. Do I sound weird? Do I sound strange or no?
Once in a while, not consistently.
Yeah, you're consistently funky. Okay, so go out, Helen.
Thank you.
It's not your fault. Go out and come back, and let's see if it's your side of the connection.
Oh God, I'm nervous. Okay.
You just come back in.
I can do it for you.
There. Can you hear me okay, Deborah?
Yeah, you sound great. How about me?
Yeah, you sound funky still. So does Helen. Wonder if it's. I wonder if it's something to do with the Western United States or something like that. There's some kind of internet issue. You think?
Well, it could. Because, and like you said, and we'll wait for Hell to come back.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something coming from here too. But I was going to say, years ago, I had, when I was, I do use my own servers and stuff, and I had set up a website for somebody that was a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't, this sounds so bad. We might just have to end the show and pick up.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, I might have to just pick it up next week because it's so crazy. Yeah, it's really out of control. You can really not hear you. It's weird.
Okay, now you're back because you were all fuzzy for me for a while too.
Was I? There's Helen.
I'm hearing constant interference when you two were talking.
Yeah.
From both of you. Yeah. I think
something's
the environment.
It's an internet problem. It's an internet problem. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. It was fun to see you all.
Yeah, you too.
Let's meet next week.
We'll call it a short show.
It'll be better.
Well, Deborah, wait a second. Why don't we try this if you would be interested? Why don't I send both of you a link to my channel, and then as soon as we're done recording, I'll just send it to you. Does that make sense?
Well, it's supposed to be a live show, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
this is live. Yeah.
Yeah, it's live. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I mean, the other option we could do is just go directly onto YouTube on your YouTube channel and do it live.
This new one doesn't have enough subscribers to do that. You have to go around.
I see. Well, you could go on my channel. We could go on my channel. And
so how do we do that?
Yeah, but I don't know how you can do. Yeah, you'd have to sort of do it through. You can do a live stream through this system. I could try that. Well, if it doesn't, well, I'd have to set it up on my, but I could actually put
I say let's just do it next week.
Yeah, I think so too. And if it becomes a problem, then we can figure out another workaround.
Yeah, I definitely think it has to do with the internet because even
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think you hexed yourself with that video about it.
Yeah, I think it's a ghost in the machine who's like, don't talk about me.
You opened a portal.
What was a demonstration? Well, I'll tell you what. See you all next week. I sent you my email back for your emails, so I've got some ideas. So let's talk next week.
Thank you,
okay?
Deborah.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise.
All right, you guys. Okay,
right.
bye-bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes and our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.